Guys, I hope you're all doing well. So today I have a review and comparison video of the new Real Techniques PowderBleu synthetic brushes, and they just recently came out with these. It's a new line, and I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about them, and then I'm going to compare them to the Wayne Goss brushes, which they're not explicitly, I guess, copying, but those I think are some of the more commonly used blue squirrel brushes that have come out in the last, I don't know, 5 years or so. Obviously Hakuhodo has a line of blue squirrel brushes, and I don't know if Chikuhodo, if they have blue squirrel. I only have one Chikuhodo brush and it's gray squirrel, so I don't know exactly what the difference is, but there you go. So basically, if you're not familiar, Hakuhodo, Wayne Goss, these are all sort of artisan Japanese-made brushes of a premium animal fiber, which is blue squirrel hair. It depends on the brush. Some have different fibers, but a lot of the ones, at least the ones that these are kind of copying, are blue squirrel hair. So Wayne Goss says that his brushes are cruelty-free, but they do use animal fiber, so I leave it up to you whether you really believe that's cruelty-free or not. That's your own decision, but I do have some Wayne Goss brushes that I'd like to compare to these synthetic ones. So I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison, actually using the brushes to apply product to my face, so you can kind of see them in action and see how the different brushes compare. So Real Techniques, they came out with 5 brushes and a puff, and I've 3 of the brushes. I believe currently you can only purchase these directly from the Real Techniques site, so keep that in mind when you're considering prices. I think you have to spend around $40 or so to get free shipping. If you sign up for their email list, you may get a discount code, so that may give you 15% off or so. And you can get free shipping if you spend, well, I got free shipping and I bought 3, so if that tells you anything. So they say, known for its fine filaments, luxurious softness, and flawless powder application, blue squirrel hair is one of the rarest and softest bristles used in prestige makeup brushes. Our faux blue, which is a trademark apparently, technology uses synthetic bristles engineered to perform as well as blue squirrel hair. Combination of soft, long tapered, and unique wavy bristles, optimized for layering powders without disrupting makeup already applied, is what they say. Alright, so the first brush that I have is the biggest one, and this is the number 1 B01 brush, and if you can kind of get a sense on my face, that's about how large it is. And one thing I really do like is that they have a tapered end, which makes it easier to put into brush cups, and they also have sort of a geometric, they're squared off on the handles, so that'll keep them from rolling around too much on your makeup counter. This is a really soft brush, and it's a bit large for my preference, but I wanted to buy it to compare it to some of the Wayne Goss brushes that I had. So they say the large tapered head of the soft powder brush is designed for flawless application of powder, bronzers, and highlighters. And I think, honestly, I mean, I would not use this for highlighter. I think, you know, for all over setting powder or anything like that, a finishing powder, but I would not use this for a highlight. I think it's just too large. They also say you can flawlessly apply loose powder foundations. I don't use loose powder foundations, so that's not really applicable for me, but there you go. And this retails for $21. So the next brush is number 2. This is the soft finishing brush. It also retails for $21. Which I find interesting because there's quite a large size difference between the 2 brushes. You would think that a smaller brush would be less expensive, but anyway. This says the extreme tapered head of the soft finishing brush is designed to gently sweep on powder blush or highlighter for a diffused glow. And then it also says the alternative use, which I find interesting. On every brush they kind of list an alternative use, which just say that it can be used for that. It's not whatever. So this says the alternative use, apply a delicate contour to the hollows of your cheeks. So I think this would be a really nice contour brush. You can see it comes to more of a tapered point, and just to give you a sense of the density, I think you can use highlighter with it if you kind of just gently sweep it on without kind of really, you know, putting too much pressure. Contour, you can put a little bit more pressure to get a larger surface area. And then I think blush as well would be really nice. So I don't have the third brush, which is the soft complexion brush. It's also $21. And this one says, the domed, dense head of the soft complexion brush is designed to blend and buff powder foundation onto skin for buildable, customizable, shine-free coverage. And then it also says the alternative use, you can buff powder blush onto cheeks. And again, I don't have that brush to show you. So the next brush, and the last one that I have, is the soft shadow brush. And this retails for $13. So again, these two larger ones are $21 and this smaller one is $13. But anyway, getting back to the soft shadow brush, it says the tapered precision head of the soft shadow brush is designed to gently layer and blend powder shadows for a naturally diffused look. And the alternative use, again, it says you can sweep powder highlighter onto the brow bone, tip of the nose, or chin. So you can use it just as a smaller powder brush. They're similar shapes. They're both kind of tapered, or all of them are kind of tapered domed brushes, small, medium, large. And the fifth brush is a kabuki brush, which retails for $25. And it says the plush large head of the soft kabuki brush is designed for buffing and blending of powder bronzers, highlighters, or contour. Again, I'm just skeptical of using it for highlighter because it just looks too large. Or contour makeup from face to décolleté for a beautiful, complete look. And then the alternative use, it says blend on powder bronzers to your shoulders and arms to warm up your look. And then finally there's a powder puff, which retails for $10. And it says it's designed to help tap on just the right amount of powder to set any makeup look. So I didn't purchase that. I don't generally use a powder puff, and I don't know that there's anything super revolutionary about it compared to your traditional powder puff. So I guess I'll just quickly show you the packaging. They came in a bubble mailer, which unfortunately led to the slight, I don't know what you'd say, damage to one of the containers, but it's not a huge deal. So really attractive. They kept the brushes nice and safe. So I don't think the packaging really says anything new from what I just read off from the website, but they do note that they're easy clean and long lasting. I haven't cleaned these yet, so I can't speak to that. And obviously I just got them, so I don't know how well they will hold up. The Wayne Goss brushes that I have, I've had them for quite some time now. I want to say I pretty much bought them when they were first released, so if that tells you anything. They were before they sort of came out with the repackaging or I guess they started to laser engrave the his name on it. Okay, so I'm going to start by comparing the Real Techniques B01, this is the soft powder brush, to the Wayne Goss powder brush, to the Wayne Goss 00 brush. And this comes in both black and white hair. This is actually goat hair, not blue squirrel hair. So this was originally released as his holiday brush, I believe in 2013, and now it's a permanent addition to the line. So I will start just by showing you kind of the difference. The Real Techniques has a longer handle, and this one is just smooth and black all the way around. It looks to me like this one, it's more of a teardrop kind of shape. So it's more of a smooth kind of blend there. This one has more of an angle to it, and then it kind of domes on the top. And if I kind of, I'd say this one feels like it has more give to it versus this one. So just some differences between them. Like I said, the soft powder brush is $21. This retails for $85, which is a lot for a brush. And it's goat hair, it's not even blue squirrel hair. It is pretty soft. I asked my husband to close his eyes, and I kind of brushed both of them on his arm, and I asked him which one he thought was softer, and he thought this one was softer. So this is handmade in Japan. This is made in China. And like I said, this is cruelty-free goat hair. This is the faux blue squirrel hair. And the Wayne Goss brush, they kind of say similar things. You can use it for powder foundation, setting powder, highlighter, bronzer, or blush. And I'm going to use both of these to apply bronzer to my face. So the next set of brushes I'm going to compare is the Real Techniques B02 soft finishing brush to the Wayne Goss number 2. And you can kind of see this one again has that same kind of teardrop almond kind of shape. It's very smooth and graduated. This one kind of comes to an angle and then kind of tapers to the tip. And this brush retails for $35 as opposed to $21. So, and I think my husband said that he couldn't really distinguish between the softness. I will show you again, having that kind of angle I think kind of gives it more give at the tip. I don't know, they're pretty similar actually. Again, this one is handmade in Japan, this one is made in China. This is cruelty-free blue squirrel hair, this is faux blue squirrel. And the soft finishing brush, again, they say you can use for blush or highlighter or contour. The powder brush, it says blush, bronzer, or highlighter. So if you really just want to try a true blue squirrel brush, of all the brushes I'm going to show you, I would say the number 2 brush is probably the most versatile, and the price difference between these two is the smallest. So I would say buy this one, maybe not this one. I mean, $21 is a lot for a drugstore synthetic brush. So you can use it for blush, contour, highlight. You can set your under your eyes. You know, use some setting powder. So I think this would be a very good addition to your collection if you don't have one like it. Alright, and finally we have the soft shadow brush, number 4. And this one to me is most similar to the number 3 brush from Wayne Goss. So that's what they look like side by side. Again, I would say this one kind of flares out and then tapers. This one's a little bit more graduated. And the Real Techniques is just a little bit longer. But I think size-wise, they are very similar. So this one retails for $13, like I said. This one is $32, if I wrote that down correctly, which is a lot for an eyeshadow brush, I won't deny that. Again, made in China, handmade in Japan, faux blue squirrel, cruelty-free blue squirrel. And they're both obviously for eyeshadow, or they say that you can use it for highlighter. So if you want on your cheek, it might be a little too small. Maybe you just want to do it for your nose or under the brow. And Wayne Goss says that you can use this for contour. Maybe if you want to contour your nose. But anyway. So just in case you're curious, I do have, like I said, the Chikuhodo brush I have is Gray Squirrel. Just to show you some other Wayne Goss brushes I have. This was the 2015 holiday brush. It's like a paddle. And it's a finishing brush to kind of sweep on powder. This was, I believe it's Blue Squirrel, but I'm not entirely sure. It might be a blend, now that I think of it. But anyway, that doesn't really have any comparison. I have the airbrush from Wayne Goss. And this is similar to the number 2 brush, except it has a pinched ferrule. So, and this one was $35. So the same price, but just slightly different in shape. And you kind of see, I guess this is what they're going to in terms of the etching. You can see mine is kind of wearing off a little bit. Okay, so these are the other Wayne Goss eye brushes I have. This, like I showed you, is the number 3, which I think is the most similar to this one. And then the number 4 is more tapered. It's a skinnier brush. And the number 6 is more of a kind of MAC 217. It has a pinched ferrule. Okay, so I've already put my base on, and I'm going to use Real Techniques on the right and Wayne Goss on the left. I'm gonna end up forgetting that. So I have my base, I have foundation, concealer, corrector, I primed my lids, I put eyebrows on, and that's it. So I think my foundation is pretty much set. I don't usually use powder to set my foundation because I have such dry skin. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in with bronzer. So I tried to select products that are pretty common, that way more people will have a frame of reference for how these products perform. And I will probably go in a little bit heavier than I normally would, just to kind of make sure that it shows up on camera. Alright, so I'm going to go in with Hoola bronzer, and you can see kind of how much, let's see, so I'm just gonna, ooh, okay, so I think it picked up a good amount. It didn't really disturb the product, and just try to put some on my forehead. Okay, so I'm not really trying to contour with this, I'm just trying to give some overall warmth. Okay, so that was the Real Techniques side. And with the Wayne Goss, same thing, just kind of tap it. Picked up a nice amount. And again, this is goat hair, not blue squirrel. Just trying to get some okay, so that is the bronzer application. So the next one I'm going to use, I think I'm going to go in with highlighter first so I can then use it for blush as well. And I'm going to use, this is the Becca Jaclyn Hill palette. And I might use Champagne Pop because I think it might show up better. We'll see. Maybe I'll just try and do a mix of Champagne Pop and Pearl. So going in, you can see it picked up that much. Just tapping each one kind of twice, and really soft. Alright, and then with the Wayne Goss number 2 brush, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to tap both colors twice. And it's really hard not to go back and forth. Okay, I feel like I got maybe a smidge more payoff on that side, but, and then finally I'm going to use the Rockateur blush. These pans, by the way, I depotted from one of the Christmas sets that Benefit put out, I don't know, a couple years now, but this is Rockateur, obviously, and again, let's just, again, I think they do a nice job of not kind of kicking up too much powder. I will say sometimes the softness of a brush is not the be-all end-all. sometimes you need a stiffer brush to really kind of pick up the product, like with a Bake Chalet kind of formula. So I just went in for a little bit more. Again, with filming and everything, it kind of washes you out. So you kind of have to use more product. Alright, I think that just shed a tiny bit. When I was taking this one, I think out of the package, it did shed a hair, which is not too bad. Sometimes when you have a brand new brush, you just lose a hair or so. Okay. I can't see. I think in person it looks really nice and natural. Let's see. Alright, so I think I'm going to play around. This is a Becca blush. I believe this is Snapdragon. This one right here. Again, just tap it a couple times. A couple more. So I think they do help you get a really nice kind of diffused blush application. Is that showing up a little better? I think if I had to say anything comparing the feel of the two, I think this one feels a little bit firmer. It'd probably be better for contour. Like if you had to compare which was best for what, I would say use this one for contour and use the other one for blush. I've also used this larger Real Techniques for more of a diffused contour in the past. Alright, so moving on to eyeshadow. So I've used a white eyeshadow all over my lids just to kind of set my primer. And I thought I would try the Modern Renaissance palette because it's very popular. So again, Real Techniques on the right. So I'm going to start off with Warm Taupe, which is not that dark, but I just kind of want to get a feel for it. Again, I just kind of tapped it in twice. Not too bad with Kick Up. I think obviously this isn't as bad as the Subculture palette, but okay, so I'm just going to lean my head back and so you're not going to get a very defined crease with this kind of brush because it just has too much give to it. And if you watch the Real Techniques demo videos, I guess, they say, you know, you just apply just use the tip to apply the shadow, and then if you press in a little bit more, it kind of blends for you. So I think it does give a nice blended look. Alright, so I'm going to go in Warm Taupe again with the Wayne Goss number 3. Try to do similar. And I would say this one, I think I applied a little bit more of a focused unless I just got more product, but and I'm sure a lot of you can sympathize that sometimes you just don't do the same on each side, so you kind of have to even them out a little bit. Yeah, but even going in with more product, I think it's just really hard to kind of place sort of just a little bit of product in the crease without it just kind of diffusing out. So you may like that. You may want a more kind of concentrated application. I think this would be really nice for going in just to like a flush tone shade This is tempera, and just kind of blending out your crease. So there you guys go. Those are the brushes in action. I hope you found that helpful. If you have any specific brushes you would like me to compare these to, I can see if I have those in my collection, and I can put pictures on Instagram or wherever. Again, my final thoughts, I would definitely recommend checking these out. They are more expensive than your normal Real Techniques brushes, and unfortunately they're only sold on the Real Techniques website at this time, so you have to worry about the free shipping and everything like that. They are a little bit more of an investment, but I think $21 for a large powder brush is not bad. An eyeshadow brush for $13 I think is good, especially just if you need like a kind of blending crease brush. They're really soft, and I think they're good quality, so I would recommend them, and you can kind of take the pros and the cons and everything I said as you will. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I will talk to you soon.